So today we're going to talk about mastering your thoughts and beliefs, and how in doing so you master your life. In order for you to be able to create your own reality and do so with power, you have to master your thoughts. You have to master your beliefs. And you need to understand, like, a lot of us, well, pretty much everybody, thinks random thoughts sometimes, and they don't lead to much, But when your random thoughts turn into habitual ways of thinking, now you have an energy pattern set, and that energy gets sort of supercharged with emotional energy, and then it creates its own energy from there. So thought forms can actually take on a life of their own. So it's really important that we understand and take note of what is our thoughts. What do we think when we're not being conscious, and what do we think when we're being conscious, and how often are you being conscious? One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they don't take the time to sort of go through their consciousness or go through their belief systems. And when you have a bunch of beliefs that don't sort of agree with what you're trying to create in life, then you run up against conflict, and you can't create in a clear way. You can't manifest in a clear way, which is what I help a lot of people with, right? And that's what I teach in Charm Life. Like, how do we get to a place where we clear the slate from the past? Depending on your age, you're going to have layer upon layer of belief systems. How do we clear that so it doesn't interfere with what you're trying to create in life? Okay. Each thought does in fact create sort of that energy, like I was saying. And if they're conflicting thoughts, if you have conflicting thoughts, for instance, say, I want to help people, but I have a belief that's buried in my subconscious that I'm not even aware of, that says I'm not capable of helping people. And I go out to help people, but nobody comes, or say I mess it up somehow, and confidence issue, whatever the case may be, and yet I keep trying and trying and trying. It is probably because there's a block there, right? It happens with people trying to create relationships. They don't really feel worthy. They don't believe they're worthy of relationships, or they believe they have to look a certain way, be a certain way, in order to attract a relationship. And yet they try to go and attract relationships, and all they typically will attract then is relationships that bring them lessons trying to lead them to a place where they can believe in themselves. With that being said, I just want to kind of get you guys thinking in terms of looking at your shadow side, looking at your conflicting beliefs, right? What are the things that are blocking you? Here's where beliefs come from. They come from society, they come from family, they come from teachers, they come from experience. But when they come from experience, they come from experience based on perception, which means it's not always true, because our perception is based on the way we look at things. We all have what's called filters, masks, that sort of guide what our perception is, right? If you were taught that money was evil because you grew up, in a religion that said that money was evil, you aren't going to have an easy time attracting money, because you don't want to be evil. Do you guys get me? Like, it's simple things like that. It's things like feeling somehow like you're selfish if you ask for certain things. If you don't feel worthy at a heart level, and you don't believe you're worthy, but you try and tell yourself you are, you're going to hit conflicting beliefs. The universe is going to react to and say yes to what your dominant thoughts and beliefs and feelings are. So we want to be very, very clear on what's roaming around in the recesses of our minds, our subconscious. That's where I see most people kind of getting interference or having blocks show up when I work with them. And I'm more than happy to do a session with you if you want to get down and dirty with your own beliefs, and we can dig through some of those in a one-on-one session. Otherwise, go check out Charm Life. We all have layers of beliefs and layers of conflicts and layers of shadows that we have to peel away to get to our true self. Those layers are hidden within your ego mind, your subconscious or unconscious mind, and they hold way more power than your conscious thoughts if not addressed. So we need to address those things and get rid of them, reprogram the brain. And it is about resolving conflict, internal conflict, not conflict out there. You start taking care of what's going on inside of you, you're automatically going to be able to address whatever's showing up outside of you that you don't like. Outside of you, your life, how you interact with others is all just a reflection of what's going on internally for you. So whatever your fears are, whatever your conflicting beliefs are, and you can find these really easy, you guys, if you just go into a place where you start to think about when you're afraid, when you're anxious, when you're nervous, what does your ego mind have to say to you? Does it try to talk you out of things, or does it try to talk you into things? Because if you believe you're capable of something, if you really believe it, and it's been reinforced throughout your life that you're capable of something, you're going to try. But if you're not, if you don't believe that you're capable, even if you are capable, even if you have it within you to accomplish something, you're not going to try, because that belief is going to overpower you to the point where the only thing you're going to see is that you're not accomplishing anything, and then what do? We settle. We put aside our dreams, we put aside our goals, and that's not necessary, and it doesn't help us. But we do have the ability, certainly, to tap into being able to change those things if we change and address what's going on within us.